Welcome. Each week I look through reports from around the world for natural disasters and extreme weather events. And this video covers the week ending the 22nd of May 2020. We'll start with reports of wildfires in Florida. This one occurred near Naples, Florida, where over 6 square miles were burned as a result of the fire, leading to this large pall of smoke over the city. Highway 75 was closed for a time, and over 500 people were evacuated. Fortunately, nobody seems to have been injured or died as a result of this fire. Tropical storm Arthur formed just south of Florida and moved up the east coast of the United States this week. It's the first storm of the 2020 hurricane season, although that technically hasn't started yet. It had winds of 60 miles an hour, so that's just short of hurricane status. And it's the 6th consecutive season where a storm has formed before the 1st of June, which is the official beginning of the hurricane season. We had another tropical cyclone form, this time in the Bay of Bengal. It at one point was a Category 5 storm and is the first since 1999 to form in the Bay of Bengal. It moved north, ploughed into eastern India and Bangladesh, killing 107 people. It left over 100,000 people homeless, and the damage is estimated to be at about $13 billion. Torrential rains have led to historic flooding in Michigan. This is estimated to be a once in 500-year flood. Just note how often we're hearing about once in 100 or once in 500 or once in 1,000-year floods these days. It seems to be altogether too regular. As a result of this flooding, 2 dams failed, flooding very large areas of the countryside. Fortunately, there were no fatalities reported, but 10,000 people had to be evacuated, and there are now chemical ponds that are in the path of this water that could become overwhelmed and release a lot of harmful chemicals into the water supply. That needs to be kept an eye on. There have been reports of flooding in Louisiana and Texas. One parish in Louisiana got over 15 inches of rain just over one night. Areas in southeast Texas got about 10 inches of rain, leaving many homes flooded. Fortunately, nobody's been reported hurt, except for, of course, financially, like the owner of that Lexus in the background there. Yet another tropical storm formed, but this time in the western Pacific, so it's called a typhoon. At one stage it became a Category 3 storm and it was called VONGFONG. It had winds of up to 100 miles per hour and ploughed into the Philippines, leaving 5 dead and about $43 million worth of damage. We've had a rare May snowstorm in the eastern part of the United States. Thunder snow was recorded in Ontario. We've had below average temperatures on the mid-Atlantic coast. We live there and we've not had to have our air conditioning on so far. We're near the end of May, which is quite remarkable. Cold weather is plaguing Western Europe as well. However, meanwhile, we're having a heat wave, an Arctic heat wave. While Canada and Northern Europe shiver, the Arctic is undergoing a record heat wave. Temperatures there have been on average about 9 degrees centigrade or 17 degrees Fahrenheit above normal. Siberia has been particularly hard hit by this heat wave, and Russia has just had its warmest winter on record, and those records go back to 1860. Siberia is not the only place having a heat wave. Israel is also having one. Temperatures have exceeded 40 degrees centigrade or about 104 degrees Fahrenheit for several days in a row, making this current heat wave the longest on record. Heat waves are rare at this time of year in Israel, so this is something peculiar. It's left 3 dead and there have been a large number of wildfires. Siberia and Israel are not the only places suffering from a heat wave. Athens is getting in on the act as well. It's just broken a 117-year-old record with temperatures of over 37 degrees centigrade. Athens has only broken the 35 centigrade mark 18 times since 1860, 8 times in the first 130 years and 10 times in the last 30 years. That represents a factor of 5 increase in the rate of these warm periods. Does anybody still believe that the globe is not warming? Now we go from the sublime to the ridiculous, a record one-day drop in temperature. Denver, went from 82 degrees Fahrenheit on Wednesday to 24 degrees Fahrenheit on Thursday. The temperature dropped 45 degrees in just 3 hours at one point. Mount Sakurajima erupted this week in Japan. It left a 3,000-foot plume of ash into the air, and there were 32 associated earthquakes. A 2-kilometer radius had to be evacuated around the mountain for fear of pyroclastic flows and lava bombs. Currently there are 42 volcanoes erupting worldwide, but none of them are particularly large, so I don't expect them to have any major impact on our weather.
So that's all the news for this week. Please stay safe, and so until next time, goodbye.